welcome everyone back to Nerd TV here for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Martin Sports Truck Series, coming at you live from the simulated Martinsville Speedway. This half-mile shaped paperclip track has been a challenge to FTSR here recently, at least last year in particular, where we saw a number of cautions I had never thought I'd see before at 19. But these guys look a little better than what they did last year, and with a lot of new faces, we could see an outstanding race. Nonetheless, short track racing with FTSR has been a blast to watch, and this is the last of the 3 short tracks we go to before we head back to the bigger tracks. And, well, weather on the track tonight's going to be a little bit cooler. As you're starting to see in your camera, the sun's already setting, so we're not going to see those blistering temperatures out there. On the track, 69 degrees, very nice track surface temp, and in the skies, 65 degrees. It only get cooler as the lights turn on and the sun goes down. To my right-hand side is Mr. Jason Rockefeller. How's it going, dude?
Yeah, man. We're out here, Martinsville, short track, just like the week, this week that the Cup Series, the Truck Series, and the Xfinity Series are going to be at, and we're here tonight for the Martin Sports Truck Series. Glad to be a part of it. Bristol Dirt was definitely something for us last time around, and it was surely enough an interesting race. Some guys had some issues, some guys really performed. Obviously, some guys were better on the dirt, some guys weren't. And today they come back to a little bit more of, their grassroots type racing here at the paperclip. Right now, top of the board in practice, 18.94 Richie Coy, who is a short track guy, is currently sitting up on the top of the board by about almost 0.3 of a second. So he's doing a really good job in practice. It should be a really interesting race. These tires are going to wear out significantly on the long run. It's going to be hard to pass, so you're going to have to be on the binders and make sure you hit your marks perfectly here tonight at Martinsville, and watch out for the wheel spin off turn 2.
Yeah, turn 2, turn 4, as is these trucks, as we know by now, the ass end of these trucks are super lightweight, right? There's nothing back there, just a set of tires and an axle or so. So when the tires wear out, it is very easy to gas up the truck, spin the tires, and that's what a lot of the problems that happened last year. And that's just the nature of Martinsville. It happens with almost every single style of high horsepower racing that we see here. And you talked about Bristol last week. Alan Duranko in the number 2 got his first victory of the season. We've had 8 races so far in the Martin Sports Truck Series. 7 different winners. Only repeat winner is Brody Hanna. So Alan Duranko got his first win. He's currently 19th on the boards. I think actually just dropped the 20th. So not really translating there. Dirt's just its own thing. Going to the asphalt, it's completely different. And I'm looking forward to the race. It's one of the few night races that they host here from each season. So when the lights are down, I think it sets the mood for a great time.
Yeah, and another guy, too, to look out for tonight who was really strong on the dirt last week, but then I believe it was a really late pit call, and he just could never get through the field. Tyler Brown, currently 7th on the board with a 19.08, so he's a little slower than Richie Coy, not by much. Honestly, in all honesty, looking at this leaderboard right here, Richie Coy top of the board with an 18.94. You got to go to about, probably almost to about 16th with Douglas Hess, who ran a 19.21. That's when you really start seeing a big difference in times. But regardless, all these guys are really tight here tonight. You talked about it, Jeremy, that this is a caution-filled race last year, and it very well could be like that tonight. But maybe due to last year's circumstances and these guys having enough, maybe since Monday they've ran some open, some thick stuff. This is an open series, so, as far as I'm concerned, these guys probably have been running Martinsville, quite a bit if they've had time throughout their week since Monday when Martinsville went live at, I believe, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So, hopefully we don't see the same race it was last year. But I'm definitely keeping an eye out for Tyler Brown, who was very strong last week on the dirt. He's currently 7th up on the board. But overall, Jeremy, tonight this race could be a very close one with speed. But Richie Coy and Brandon Elder are kind of setting the bar right now with an 18.94 and a 9.6.
That's excellent to see Brandon Elder in that 51 running up front in practice here, almost mimicking the time of Richie Coy. We'll see if he can carry that during the entire race. Quick notations here before we go to qualifying. There is a couple penalties to mention. Tyler Brown and Maxwell Solsch, both from the Bristol Dirt Race last week, will have an EOL penalty handed to them. So no matter where they qualify, the 00 and the 89 will be dropping to the rear of the field, which is not good for Martinsville. Track position is everything here, and they're going to have to work their way through 34 truck entries, I believe we have counted. So they got their work cut out for them regardless, but it is time for qualifying. Of course, we're going to ride on with Richie Coy, the 19, if he jumps onto the track quickly, as we're going to try to ride with every person that wins the practice session. If not, we'll maybe have to kick over to the next fastest guy, which actually we're going to. Brandon Elder in the 51. He's coming up to the green flag, start his first qualifying lap. Can he get to the 18.9 bracket there?
Yeah, but right there, he just totally misses the corner. I believe these guys are going to have 2 laps of qualifying. So I think, in all honesty, Jeremy, if Brandon wants to have a good lap, he's going to have to arc it a little bit here, which it looks like he kind of does. But he's not really hugging that line. He's kind of struggling entering the center. I tested a little bit here yesterday afternoon because I planned on getting back into the iRacing scene. I was running a fixed setup, obviously. But that's the thing, though, Jeremy, about here is Brandon Elder does go to the top with a 19.21, but I do expect that to be topped. That was not a very good lap, considering the lap times he put in practice along with him and Richie Coy. But it is very tight. You got to think about this track just like the rest of the flat tracks. And honestly, the best track that can really compare this to, honestly, even though they drive 2 totally different ways, as Brandon Elder finally posts a 19.16, but still slower than what he ran in practice. You got to picture this track like Richmond. You have to kind of get on the brakes a little bit here as we ride on board with Brody Hanna. Right here, you're going to start getting on the brakes. You're going to want to try to drag that brake. Get down to that curb right there. I want to call it the Harvick line because Harvick can always run really close to that curb as Brody is completely losing off the corner. Or like Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney is one of the best drivers, not to praise my boy over here, but Ryan Blaney's one of the best at getting down to that line here. That's going to be key. There's going to be a lot of grip down there. You're going to be able to rotate the truck through the center of the corner if you can hug that white and red curbing there, just like Tyler Brown did right there, wrap around 3 and 4. So make sure you're easy on the brakes. You don't want to wheel hop because it's going to be all about consistency here tonight.
Yeah, Tyler Brown hugged that corner really well, puts himself, it looks like, right in the 10th place at the moment. I remember he is going to be dropping to the back, so he's just doing this all for pit selection here as he comes to take the checkered flag and some huge
nice
style
save
there. Did not touch the wall. Well done there by Tyler to keep that truck clean. And we did see, Rody, ooh. He parked after the first lap, went on a hot lap for the second one, and overdid turn 4, got them too much out of that truck. And now we're kicking over to the 91 Elevated Esports. Justin Diltz, team owner for them. Let's see what he can do on his hot lap. I also saw, too, Richie Coy did fall out for a packet loss and has rejoined. So internet issues maybe plaguing the 19 as he gets on the track as well.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he's going to post a qualifying lap here, honestly. I don't believe these guys have like a 5-minute ruling like iRacing usually does and stuff like that. So Richie Coy should easily be able to post a lap time. But right now, Nick Goebel, top of the board with a 19.10, still not faster than what we saw in practice. Obviously, though, too, Jeremy, this track being very cool. The grip's still down there on the bottom of the racetrack. You could see the rubber painted through that concrete in turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. As you see, Richie right now flies around 3 and 4. The Haskell, New Jersey native takes his lap time, and he jumps up to the 4th. So, again, not faster than what we saw in practice. So, hopefully, Richie's going to have to really be on the binders right here. He's going to have a really good 3 and 4. Get the arc into the corner, hug that white and red curbing, just gets up a little bit. They're off the corner, he's going to spin it out. So Richie Coy, the man who was dominant in practice, looked to be the favorite. He's not going to get the pole here tonight, Jeremy. It's looking like if nobody else tries to qualify, he's going to qualify 4th here and be on the outside of the 2nd row for the green flag.
And Nick Goebel, I think, was like 8th place in practice, too. Just came out of nowhere with his 19.0 for qualifying. The only one to hit a 19 flat. Oh, not flat, but he almost hit a point, 19.097. Almost a dead tie there for 2nd and 3rd. JP Burns in the 99, Brandon Elder in the 51. As all these other guys are starting to finish their lap times up. Brody's back on track to post his time if he can this time. Coming through 1 and 2. I think it's a hot lap, but he gets really hot through 1 and 2, hits the wall again, and Brody not able to control it, goes back to pit road. He's probably going to be done there with 20 seconds left in this qualifying session. 26 laps right now posted for this session.
Yeah, the only one right now who's on track is Joshua O'Connor Sr. right now, but I don't think there's going to be a lap time really posted. 20.42. We'll have to see. That's currently dead last up on the board. There's still a few drivers who didn't qualify right now. Maxwell Solch, Gene Collum, Cody McKinney, Rick Webb, Kyle Milliken in the 42 machine. A lot of guys who haven't qualified yet exactly. So yeah, that will round out qualifying. And Nick Goebel and JP Burns are going to take the front row here, Jeremy.
We're going to kick it over to our starting grid lineup here to get this race underway. Nick Goebel does take P1. JP Burns is going to start in second. Brandon Elder gets third. Richie Coy, fourth. Douglas Hess in fifth. Sherwood Williford in sixth. TJ Bartell, seventh. Eighth place, Tony Solari. Ninth place, Tommy Schaefer. And the round up the top 10, Tyler Brown.
You down the red out your top 20. You have Josh Mayu in the 0-2. He's 11th. James Torrey in the 6th starts 12th. Sylvan Jolly in the 13th place. Ryan Chapman, 14th. Justin Dills, top 15. Stephen Hollingsworth, 16th. Steve Loomis, 17th. Alan Duranco, 18th. Leonard Stang, 19th. And Steve Angie in the number 69 rounds out the top 20.
21st, Joseph McKinney. 22nd, Timothy Stubblefield. 23rd, Jeff Brayton. 24th, Chad Curran. 25th, Colby Mice. 26th, Joshua O'Connor. 27th, Cody McKinney. 28th place, Lane Allen. Rick Webb will take 29th. Colton Gum, 30th. Brody Hanna, 31st. Kyle Milliken, 32nd. Maxwell Solch, 33rd. And Gene Collins going to round up tonight's 34 truck lineup for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Martin Sports Truck Series here. And this will be Nick Goebel's second pole in 9 races. So he's got a little knack here for getting some poles.
Yeah, he definitely does. I mean, that was a great lap time posted by him. JP Burns, obviously, as well. Those guys are going to be two to really beat tonight. But don't think that just because Richie Coy didn't have such a good qualifying lap that he's not going to do good. Also, Sherwood Williford, very strong at the short tracks. Kind of has a knack for the flat tracks from what I've seen so far. I expect Richie Coy and Sherwood to probably be at the front in no time.
It's just going to take a little bit. It is a really tight track with passing, and a lot of these trucks have been loose, and if you combine that with what we saw last season or last year here in 2022A, it could be a handful for some of these guys trying to work their way through the field. You just got to play the patience card. You can't go all or nothing early on. You do have 200 laps in this race. There will be a stage break, I think around lap 80. I'm going to try to confirm that. But yeah, there will be a stage break. So, I mean, you can reset. You can get your tires set up. Whatever you got to do to the truck to make your way to the front and sustain, because you will use some tire wear, or eat up some tires rather, if you're trying to go from the back to the front too fast.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for some of these guys to really control themselves with the tire wear and stuff like that. And coming off turn number 2, that's going to be the hardest place. When these tires start to wear out, you're going to get tight through the center, and then off the corner, you're just going to wheel spin a ton coming off turn 2.
Did check. It's going to be lap 75, where we're going to see the stage break. And then they go the rest of the way, so an extra 125 laps will bring them to the 200 lap mark to complete Martinsville 200 for these truck guys. As we're going to see the pace car dip down. Going to wait for Nick Goebel to reach premature Patrick, late Larry, whatever we call him these days. That's what he's going to be doing, is throwing that green flag for us. Green flag officially on the server, and race is on as they race. And oh, TJ Bartell heavy into the front stretch wall. Caution is out before lap 2 even occurs. Tire spin, we talked about it late, but early on just gasses it up and right in front of the field, destroys the nose. It looks like the 6 of James Torrey. And then the 17 of Steve Loomis gets turned as well into the 9. I think there's about 8 trucks that got some damage out of that one.
Yeah, what that probably was more than likely, Jeremy, was wheel spin, just like you talked about. But because this is such a low gear starting racetrack, and how quickly the RPMs get so high when you get on the throttle here at a Bristol, at a Martinsville, at a Richmond, it is very easy. And that's a thing that you see a lot of times in official races that cause massive pileups. The 17, the 9, all these guys could have been heavy hitters tonight already involved here on this lap 1 incident. We're not even a quarter of the way through the first lap, and there was about 5 to 6 trucks piled up there down the front straightaway. But yeah, that was definitely just a cause and effect of, tire spin plus trying to get into gear and, mashing the gas too early, mashing the gas too much. And it's unfortunate circumstances. You might see that, though, a lot here tonight.
Yeah, people involved with Joshua O'Connor, James Torrey, Leonard Stang, Steve Loomis, TJ Bartell, the 28 of Cody McKinney, Rick Webb, Brody Hanna, Colby Mice, Lane Allen, the 66 as well of Shad Curran. Bunch of names. Got some damage out of that one. Thankfully, it's Martinsville, so what impact wasn't too terrible. I think all these trucks will just have cosmetic. Hopefully there's no toes knocked out or anything. Maybe James Torrey, because he got hit quite hard there in the left front tire as TJ Bartell came right across the track into his left front. So I think everything's going to be okay. Of course, aerodynamics don't really play a factor at Martinsville, especially on these trucks. So it's just going to be a little bit of a reset for some of these guys. They're going to have this tire in the back and, spend a little extra time trying to get way through the field. But still, that's tough. Lap 1, quarter 1, and we already had a caution.
Yeah, I actually kind of disagree just a little bit, Jeremy, just because the fact that you're turning at such a sharp turn, at such a slow rate of speed, heading through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I think if that right front, or maybe not even the right rear, but really just in general, that right front, if that right front fender gets caved in a little bit, it will definitely hurt your performance. It'll definitely hurt, like you see that Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet Silverado that passed by, the silver, red, and orange and yellow truck. If that right front fender is caved in just a little bit, it's going to be really hard. Yep, that's perfect right there. You see that number 14 machine, and right there, great shots from Dustin, man. This guy does it like no other, I promise you. But you see that number 14 machine, how badly damaged that right front fender is. It's going to be really hard for him to rotate through the center of the corner here, Jeremy. So he's definitely going to be at a disadvantage, especially on exit, because he's going to be so tight. You can just see how much he's cranking that wheel at practically a 90-degree level when you really don't even need to do that much here at Martinsville.
Probably because I'm just not a good short track driver, so I don't really feel the effects of an aero situation with my fenders crimpled in. Maybe that's just the case personally, but if you can notice it, then you got a little more talent than I do behind a wheel, at least on Martinsville. It's never been one of my favorites, but it's enjoyed to watch though. It's really fun as the green flag is going to fly once again. Nick Goebel is going to lead these guys to the field with Brandon Elder to his outside this time, who did swap spots with JP Burns. They go through turn 1. A clean start this time around. Nick Goebel gets an early launch. Here's we got 54 Rick Webb exiting pit road, cautiously letting everybody by, thankfully, because that would have been a huge congestion situation. And as the guys complete their first green flag lap, it's looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, looking pretty good. You see Richie Coy right there trying to just barely clear Sherwood Williford going into turns 1 and 2. He's going to do it. And then there's Richmond Cup Series winner right there, Tony Solari. He's trying to look to the inside of Sherwood. This is the battle for the 5th place spot as they head into 3 and 4. Everybody starts to get single file. A couple drivers back behind them starting to battle. That's Tommy Schaefer and Joshua Mayu there in the number 02 machine as they head through 1 and 2.
They'll have 6 or 7 trucks on pit road getting service done to their trucks from that very beginning wreck. Outside of that, things have single filed out quite a bit here in Martinsville, which is typically expected unless you're trying to, come from the back to the front, because you don't really need to run the top to wear out your tires. You just kind of patiently wait, try to get your spots here. Looks like Brody Hanna's trying to move up through here, currently sitting 1 lap down. Your first person 1 lap down too, so he's going to try to hold everything he can to get his lap back. He's hoping for a caution. He's probably the only driver, or one of very few, that are hoping for another early caution to get his lap back. But we know we're probably going to see at least one more. So still, even though you're trying to get that spot, you still got to play the patience card, because you're probably going to see one at least at stage break minimally.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, right there, heading into turns 1 and 2, we got a couple laps to a lap ago. Colton Gum almost cleaned out Steve Angie going into 1 and 2. He dove it down in there, got past Angie, who's currently struggling just a little bit. Few drivers to know who are really taking part and moving up through the field. Some drivers who are really losing it right now. Tyler Brown, -6 from the start of this race. Kyle Milliken, the 42 machine, he's up 11 from where he started. A few other guys, too, doing a really nice job. Let's see right here. You can just see the 88 gets in there. It was heading into 1 and 2, I know, so he gets by him that lap. Probably was the lap beforehand, but that 88 got into the corner really hard. Thought he was going to be able to probably clean out that 69 machine, but thankfully he didn't. But you're starting to see a lot of guys. They're just trying to rotate their trucks through the center, and everybody's just trying to keep on trucking here at Martinsville. Richie Coy, though, Jeremy has moved up into the second spot. We talked about he didn't need to be on the pole to be fast. Both him and Brandon Elder in that number 51 machine, both sitting second and third up on the podium. They've gotten past JP Burns, and Sherwood Williford is looking to attack on Burns here as he just continues to drive that Jeff Burton throwback, that number 99 X-Side batteries, Ford F-150. Absolutely love that paint scheme. Now we're riding on board with Tony Solari. He's behind Sherwood Williford as you see the both of those drivers trying to get past Burns here in a 2.
Yeah, let's see how JP Burns does in the front half of the field here as he's currently running in 4th, and I agree, that's one of my favorite paint schemes there in that Jeff Burton throwback. It looks like the leader, Nick Goebel, there in McKinney Motorsports, has already caught some lap traffic here as he goes into turn number 1 with Richie Coy just gaining on him by multiple tenths of a second every single lap, and right now he's got about 5 truck length separation between him and the 19 as you see another lap truck give way. That'd be the number 5 there. Colby Mice goes several laps down. Looks like it's going to be his 8th lap down. He is part of that caution. And actually, speaking of cautions, the second one presented by Roasted Gems Coffee is officially out. Front stretch, the number 20, Douglas Hess, coming off of turn 4. Looks like he just had a little bit of a self-spin, tire spin situation there. And there he goes, right in front of traffic. And iRacing official said, you know what? It's on the track surface. We got to throw the caution.
That was just getting up on the curb right there. I wonder if we could, Dustin, we could try to ride on board the number 20 machine from the roof or the hood cam. You saw it right there, exiting 4. He just gets up on that curb just a little bit. Perfect angles here from Dustin. You'll see him right here. Pop, right there. That is exactly what you don't want. The second, guys, that you touch that left front or left rear on those curbs here at Martinsville, whether it's on the exit of 2 or exit of 4, heck, even entering the corners into 1 and into 2, or sorry, into 1 and into 3, you will wheel hop. That truck will become very unbalanced, and it will become undrivable once that truck finally settles back down with all 4 tires on the racing surface. And it will create a lot of wheel spin because obviously the tires are rotating at such a fast pace of speed, and plus, you know, they're off the ground, up in the air for a little bit, so it's kind of, you know, unsettles the truck. And unfortunately, that's what happened to the number 20 of Douglas Hess right there off turn number 4.
Something we haven't really had to worry about this season is how often you come in for the pits to get your tires changed. These guys have 4 sets of tires to use, and if we get close to the amount of cautions that we had last year here, which was 19, I believe, you got to play the strategy of, you know, if I'm leading the race now, but I don't want to give up my tires too early because if there's a bunch more of these cautions, I don't want to be the sit and duck late in this run. So a lot of these guys did not pit knowing that is the case. So we did see a couple people come down pit road, but strategy is going to be huge on that one. You got to conserve what you have behind the wall as long as your truck's quick enough on these long runs. Sustain the guys that have the fresh tires for a little bit until their stuff falls off. That's going to play key here, I think, later on in this race.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and if we do get an excess amount of cautions, you're really not going to see most guys probably pit until around the lap 100 to lap 120 mark. And that really leads me to maybe Road to Pro tomorrow night. You know, Road to Pro, Road to Pro is at Bristol tomorrow night. And I was talking to one of the drivers who's in Split 1, and he was telling me that, you know, you probably won't see guys pit until lap 100 to lap 120, you know, just because of, you know, either cautions or just because you could really stay out for about that long depending on the fuel run and the amount of cautions you get. So, I mean, you very well could see guys stay out here for a very long period of time like Nick Goebel, Coy, Burns, Williford, Solari. Any of those guys up there in the top 5, they might try to stay out as long as they can just so they can get track position and just so they know that in case this race does keep going caution free, they're going to have those sets in case this race does keep having cautions, they have those extra set of tires in the pits in case they do need them if there is a short green flag run to the finish.
Yeah, 100% there. And I did pose on YouTube and on Facebook on the chats. I did ask over under 6 cautions tonight. 1 vote only from Edward Blum saying over. We're already a third of the way there. Voice your opinions in your comments, guys. Chats are open. We'll love to shout you out. As we're about to go back to green flag racing, Nick Goebel is going to take this restart for the third time here overall. Green flag is out. Richie Coy to his top side this time, who was coming up to him really strong here as Richie dives it in Deep, hits the brakes hard, doesn't make the center here, and Nick Goble's going to launch off corner exit, take over the race lead momentarily, but 19 Richie Coy, he's going to be there on his bumper, putting massive amount of pressure, I think, until the 25 makes a mistake. As the caution for the third time presented by Roasted Gems Coffee is out already. This time, the 54 of Rick Webb coming off of turn number 2. Looks like he made some contact with the 55 of Jeff Brayton. Gets loose, crosses back over in front of the 55. Solo spin, caution's out.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look and see what happened here. You know, it's just a product of Martinsville. You know, you see him right there getting looped back around. Wonder if we can get another angle of this incident. No feed we're hearing, but yeah, that's just unfortunate. You know, these guys are so bunched up together, Jeremy. It's very hard for some of these guys to really be racing the way they are. Some guys, if you're in the back of the pack, you're trying to be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the guys who are around you, who's faster than you, who's not faster than you. When can you give? When can you take? It's all part of the process here at Martinsville, and that's why so many drivers like it, because it's a driver's racetrack. But also, you got to be consistent. You got to hit your marks, and really, you got to know how to race at these close quarters type racetracks like Martinsville, like Bristol. I don't know. I'm trying to think of other tracks. The Coliseum, if you know you ever go there, just other places. It's just these guys really got to be on their toes. They got to be consistent and make sure that they can race side by side with one another.
We're going to kick it over to our first commercial break here. Stay tuned. We're going to go picture-in-picture mode. We'll be back for you for the drop of the green flag. Back to full screen coverage here as Nick Goble is going to lead the fourth start of this race here. Main start plus 3 cautions. He's got Richie Coy to his outside once again, second time in a row. Will the 19 try to do the same thing before, dive it deep in, and hopefully it sticks to the center of the corner? Or will he try something a little different? Green flag is out. They race into turn 1. Richie's going to drive it in deep once again. Can't stick the center, just like an instant replay of last restart. The 25 just almost clears the 19. That's the only difference this time. Come through 3 and 4. Nick Goble still can't clear Richie's. He's trying everything to maintain the top here. And Jason, this is going to be a good battle here for the race lead.
Yeah, Goble's right now just trying to clear Richie. But Richie, if we take a look here at this camera angle right here, watch Richie into the corner. So much better than Nick on entry speed. I mean, if Nick possibly, you see Richie just barely gets up towards the wall, almost taps it, does a good job of keeping it out of the wall. But look at Richie, man. The only thing that's going to be a negative when it comes to getting in the corner that hard for him is he could possibly slide the tires, too much brake possibly, or even maybe lock it up. Ooh, excuse me. And also, not to mind the fact, too, is that if he brakes too hard, too, and especially with his entry speed, he's going to wear out them front tires a lot. And you do not want to wear out those tires as we ride on the back of Nick Goble. And Richie Coy right now is doing a very good job keeping Nick Goebel under pressure. But don't mind the fact, and we have a Roasted Gems caution, or a coffee caution flag right now. So Richie Coy will not be able to lay the bumper to Nick Goebel that time on that run.
TJ Bartell, second caution he's been a part of. Solo spin coming through turns number 1. You're going to see it on the Nerd TV replay. Just drove up higher than the concrete patch there into the asphalt section. And typically you find a little bit more grip up there, but it's too early for marbles. But yet he just got in there really hot in the rear and just did not stick. Slides it through the corner. Doesn't hit anything, so that's good. But that does bring up the 4th caution already this evening on lap number 33. We see Jessica Stubblefield in the chat saying, let's go Stubbs. Of course we got to be rooting for Stub Nation each and every time we go live with the FTSR boys on their TV. Appreciate the comments. Keep commenting, people. I know we got some others out there watching. Feel free. Join in with us. It's going to be a little bit longer race with these cautions right now, up to 4 already. But, you know, that's a part of short track racing. It's rare that you can see a perfectly clean race from start to finish.
Yeah, it's very hard to do so, Jeremy, especially here at Martinsville. We talked about it earlier on, and we're looking like maybe some guys might be coming to the pits right here. It looked like a lot of guys were kind of low. Don't know if there's going to be any takers. You see the main guys on pit road right now are only the guys who had damage from all the incidents we've had here tonight. But that's the thing, you know, I mean, with all these cautions, you know, it plays into effect for strategy, and most of these guys want to stay on the same strategy because they know track position's key. You know, that's why I know Richie Coy probably was a little bit frustrated, maybe, possibly, potentially, whatever you want to call it, with his performance in qualifying. But thankfully, he hasn't been shuffled out to the back. He's been doing a great job. Went from 4th, now he's 2nd. Sherwood Williford, same thing. And Stephen Hollingsworth up to 6th right now. And that number 50 machine, he's sitting in the 6th spot. Colton Gum is 13th. He is plus 17. Brody Hanna in the 23, plus 15. He's 16th. And Stephen Allen in at number 14, who was just wrecked a handful of laps to go, Jeremy. He's currently in the top 15, plus 13 from where he started. So this could either be a demo derby here at the end of this race with not one single car having a clean truck, or it can really just continue to be like this where the back half of the field just keeps wrecking and those guys out front, they're just going to keep on staying out until they really need to pit for fuel.
And TJ Bartell, who was part of that caution there, solo spin, has backed out of the server, so that number 1 truck is done for this evening. Also, you mentioned the trucks are going low, potentially pitting. They're actually letting by the Lucky Dog Award winner this time, going to the 55 of Jeff Brayton. So he gets himself a hashtag Get a Grip award there as he's exiting pit road. Doing a nice little tire peel there, exiting his pit stall. But he's going to get that reward, get himself back on the lead lap. It's going to put 22 drivers back on the lead lap, 34 entries. So we have 12 that are lap down or more. So with these cautions being plentiful already, the first person next to lap down is Maxwell Solsch. He is 3 laps down. He has a potential to get himself back up there, but we're half a lap away from going back to green flag for the 5th time this evening. Again, for the 3rd time in a row, the same exact front row here. 25 Nick Goebel leading the way, Richie Coy on the top. Let's see if we get an identical restart once again. Green flag is out as they race to turn 1. It looks like we're going to have the same exact entry here from the 19, but he actually sticks the lower half of the corner here, getting himself a great launch. But Richie doors the wall. It's going to bring him back side by side directly with the 25 of Goebel. Goebel sticks to the bottom and still side by side here. Excellent racing once again, really for the top 10.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, you got probably some of the best guys up here in the top 10. They know what they're doing. Richie knows what he's doing. Nick knows what he's doing. JP, Sherwood, all these guys up inside this top 10. And Richie, man, Jeremy, he is digging up on that top side of the racetrack. He is still putting a harsh battle to Nick Goebel in that 25. You got to think, though, at some point, Richie's going to either have to give or Nick's going to have to give, but neither of these guys want to give right now. Richie gets the run off the corner, though, and Richie Coy, the New Jersey native, to the lead as Nick Goebel tries the crossover. Not going to be enough. Richie Coy puts the power down off 4, and he'll lead coming to lap 42.
I have no idea how there wasn't a caution there through turns 1 and 2 this time. We had someone really loose up there on the track. Trying to go back and take a look myself. Looks like maybe Colton Gum there. Yeah, Colton Gum was just 3 wide entering turn 1 with Brody Hanna and Josh Mayu. And he somehow got it straight with the 14 contact. Really slowed up a bunch of the guys in the back but they didn't spin. So that kind of, shortcutted his run and some others. But thankfully, we're still going green flag action here. 19 has separated now by a half a second. Sherwood Williford coming through here. P3, 3 spots up on the grid since the drop of the green flag. And then you got Tommy Schaefer crack the top 5. He's up 5 spots, starting from 9th, now in 4th. Stephen Hollingsworth also making some spots. 11 positions gained from 16 to 5th. So a lot of the guys are cycling through already.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are really starting to gain a lot of track position now. Hopefully they can get a green flag run under their belts that's very long. And Richie Coy, he's just putting down flyers, man. He's out to about almost a second lead. Now it's about over a second. He just ran a 19.36 last time around to Nick Goebel's 19.55. So Richie's definitely trying to be in a zip code of his own. But the thing is, though, keep an eye here when you head off turn number 2. Look right there in front of him briefly. If we could take an onboard shot here of the roof cam. Look what's in front of him, though, Jeremy. He's going to have to deal with lap traffic. And I mean, I'm sure that these guys here in the Martin Sports Truck Series, all these drivers, all these truckers, whatever you may call them, they're going to be kind and courteous. But some guys, man, they don't want to go a lap down. They're going to fight very hard against Richie to try to keep themselves from going down a lap. Because with the amount of cautions we've had tonight and how frequently they've been coming out, they don't want to be trapped a lap down. They want to try to fight for it the best they can, because you never know when a yellow might come out just because of how tight and compact this racetrack is.
Yeah, and this is about the time where you're starting to see some tire wear potentially happen as the 19 does get around some of the lap traffic here. He gives plenty of leeway as he's now coming up to the 89 here. Passes him clean of Maxwell Solstice. It's going to put him 4 laps down. And now his eyes are set next to Joshua O'Connor, who is 18 laps down. Probably going to give plenty of leeway as well, which you're starting to see that as a lot of the lead traffic is starting to get to him. Oh, and a little congested behind Nick Goebel. Sherwood Williford finally gets around the number 9 there of Leonard Stang. It's going to go a little separation between the 33 and the 25. Outside of that, everybody else is dipping down to the bottom. No problems there. A lot of single file racing right now, which is what these guys want to do. They want to log these laps, especially if you're in the front. There's no need to cause any issues right now.
Yeah, well, they also want to just kind of get a feel for the tire wear here. You're not really seeing a lot of guys really be right up against that white and red curbing, but you could just see they want to get used to seeing how the lap traffic kind of gets in the way. Where do they got to go? How can they keep the flow of their own race going? Remember, they're not really worried about anybody else's race. The most important thing, Jeremy, when it comes to Martinsville is you need to race your own race. Race the racetrack and race your truck. Do not race others. Do not put yourself in a box that you shouldn't be in. You really got to be easy as, the 89 machine is up into the wall of Solch. I don't know if that brought out the Roasted Gems Coffee caution flag there, but if so, that might be the reason. Not too sure. But right now we are under caution, so there goes the chance of a very long green flag run. And it looks like Richie Coy was over about 5 seconds, I believe, on Nick Goebel. And yes, that was the caution from what it looks like. Unfortunate there for the number 89. Unfortunate for all those guys who wanted to see a long run there, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm confused on that caution. I know he was slower, but this is Martinsville. These guys are already doing like 50 miles an hour, maybe 60 to the corner. But I guess that rate of speed that he dropped, he got to not even to the corner yet, and he went from my telemetry saying 106 down to 75 with that tire lockup. So 30 mile an hour dip before the corner. I guess that caused the iRacing AI admins or officials, whatever you want to call them, to go, hey, you know what? There's an incident on the track. So I kind of disagree with that caution, but that was an iRacing thrown one. FTSR does not throw cautions. So that will bring out the 5th one presented by Roasted Gems Coffee here on lap 47. And then we are officially now, or lap 48, but this will be officially the 4th of the way through this race. And I'm kind of surprised too. I'm also seeing the 89 get the lucky dog as he just passed the pace car and is going to resume around the track. So that caution couldn't have come out because iRacing does not give lucky dogs to the guys who caused the caution.
Yeah, that could have just really been a glitch in the system. I mean, technology can only go so far, Jeremy. We've seen it plenty of times. You've seen it plenty of times, too, when it comes down to long green flag runs, whether it be in a league race, a league that's being broadcast like we're doing here tonight, or even official races, whether it be NIS or I don't know, C Open, B Open, A Open, whatever you want to call it. You know, that's the thing. These guys sometimes, like, for example, I've seen truck races where there's been a yellow at a short track like Martinsville during the middle of green flag stops. And because of the way that the cars were placed on the racetrack and the way the caution came out and who was a lap down and where they were and whatever it may be, it causes a big scuffle up in the leaderboard. And that happens sometimes. So unfortunately, that's just probably an issue with the iRacing services. Probably not something that would probably more than likely happen again, but it is technology. You can only go so far, and things happen occasionally.
Well, I went back and actually I fact-checked myself, and at the same exact moment that happened, I was watching Colby Meister in the 5 on my replay. His truck was in and out. Internet connection was very spotty, so it was hard to tell what was going on, but I did see some tire smoke in that truck sideways through turns 3. So that's probably why we didn't see it, because he was just blinking so hard. But he did slide up into turn 3 at 90-degree angle, perpendicular to the corner. So I think you see him right there on the Nerd TV replay. He wasn't there until he was already slow and regaining his speed off of 4. So I think actually that would have been the caution, and that makes sense to the 89 able to get that lucky dog.
Yeah, well, take everything I said and throw it out the window, I guess. But hey, we're going green.
We're going back to green. Yep. Here we go. Richie Coy this time going to start first for the first time. Green flag is out. Coming through turn 1. Does Nick Goebel do the same thing Richie did on the last couple of restarts? He does not have the center grip like the 19 does. 19 launches about 2 or 3 truck lengths out there. They're almost 3 wide here. As Sherwood Williford, Tony Solari try to go underneath Nick Goebel. That did not happen. He resumes in second. Really good race here, 5th on back.
Good job by Tony Solari. Heads up driving by the guy who won the Cup race at Richmond due to strategy just a handful of weeks ago. And by the way, that was a fantastic finish for the folks who were not able to catch that. Definitely go and watch the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series finish from Richmond. Great finish, great race overall. But yeah, no, that number 11 machine, good job by Tony there to not go 3 wide, entering 3, because that could have been bad. And let's all face it, Jeremy, both you and I, and even Dustin knows, the producer, you cannot go 3 wide entering corners at Richmond. We've seen it way too many times. It causes a huge incident just because of how flat the track is, the amount of speed you're carrying into the corner, how much you have to slow up. So good job by the 11 to not stick it in 3 wide right there, heading into 3.
Yeah, and the only time we saw a 3 wide here tonight, there was a caution there. That was coming into turn 1 about 30 laps ago. So that definitely validates your point there 100%. I don't want to be 3 wide anywhere on this track, even if it's just for a second or two. It's just such a tight quartered track. It's not worth it to me. I'd rather back off and reset for sure. But Richie Coy already out to a second lead. Second through 10th really is having an awesome battle as they're all in the back bumper of the 25 Nick Goebel. So he kind of gets some separation himself there through turns 3 and 4, but Sherwood Williford, he brings a long run setup. So if they can get this green flag run that they all want, I expect the 33 of Williford to be there. Tony Solari, I know he's the road course dirt guy, but this is also Martinsville. It drives similar to a road course in a way. So I expect this number 11 to do well here late in the run.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, Jeremy, that's a great way of thinking and putting it. I never really thought about short tracks, especially Martinsville being, a road course type track. I mean, just think about it when you could put a comparison for our braking zones. You see him making an inside pass on Sherwood Williford. He's not going to make it. He'll duck in line behind him entering 1 and 2. But I never really thought of that. You got to think to yourself, the similarities. All right, what's the similarities here? All right, well, you're already going into a very hard braking zone. You got to make sure that you can, match your braking points. Check and check. So that both, varies for a road course and a flat short track like here tonight. And you also got to think to yourself, too, how much brake do you put into the corner before you can let the car or truck rotate through the center and get back to the throttle and get back to it in a gradual manner to where you're not going to spin the tires off 2 and off 4. So, it really does play a factor. As you see, we got a little bit of contact right there. The number 20 machine, Douglas, has really dove it in there on the number 91 of Dilts. Good job by him. He just got up on the curb, almost 3 wide. Racing now, and there goes the number 91 of Dilts. He's around off the bumper
I believe, I'm not too sure. That might have been Douglas, could have been Chapman. I'm not too sure. We'll have to take a look at the replay, though, here in a one.
And a little bit of a 3-wide action there. It wasn't going to be, but the 91 of Dilt's got extra slow as he's entered about midway up the track, and you see it there off his left rear bumper, and boop, the 50 just turns him around there. Just really tight quarter racing. You hit the 3-wide mark, and that's 2 for 2 on validating your point there, Jason. You just cannot do it, and that was, yeah, Dilt's going around off the 50's bumper there, and it does bring out the 6th caution presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee. Again, there's only one truck that spun. So, I mean, at least the wrecks that have happened, minus the initial start, everything else has been a single truck. Pretty clean incident overall. So no harm. Just got to use up another set of tires from the 91's pit box to get that thing changed up. But we're going to take it back to another commercial break here after we get done showing you the final replays of this incident. As we're going to kind of reset here for the next restart. So we'll be back with you guys after a few short messages.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And back to full screen coverage here as we're going to watch the 7th start of this race as the 19 of Richie Coyne, 25 of Nick Goebel just sharing the front row here for the past 4 restarts. Green flag is out. Tire spin, ooh, from the 29 of Tommy. Oh, Nick flips the 33 heavy incident into the inside wall there. Just at the entrance of turn 1, the 7th caution presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee is going to be flying. And this is big. This is the 23 of Brody Hanna, the last week's winner, the number 2 of Alan Duranco, the 14 of Lane Allen. Quite a few guys in this wreck to bring up the 7th caution.
Well, I mean, who would have expected that to happen? I have no words.
Well, the only thing I can think of is these guys trying to conserve those tires we talked about way back, a lap around 20, when you have to, wait till the end to use your tires. And some of these guys, like the front, they haven't changed their tires. They haven't come down pit road. And so these tires are older. And so they gassed it up after a decently long green flag run for the race standard. And then you see that incident where you saw 29 Tommy Schaefer, 25 Nick Goebel, who's been excellent up to this point, spin the tires, causes a multi-truck wreck here. But this changes everything. This is everything that Richie Coy would have ever hoped for if there's going to be a caution where all the fast guys get involved in the wreck behind him.
Yeah, and Richie Coy's actually in the pits right now from what it says up on the leaderboard. A lot of guys are actually in currently. I tell you what, though, I want to take a look
at this replay one more time. I want to say it was the red and yellow and black truck. I want to say it was a number 29. I know it had to do with it too.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Mr. Schaefer.
yeah, that number 29 machine, if we could ride on board real quick, that machine barely got through that wreck right there. I mean, that was an amazing piece of driving. I believe he split the middle here. We'll have to take a look. You see him right here. There they go. They're bouncing up. Oh, almost gets clipped in the left rear right there. He barely got through it. So good job driving to Tommy Schaefer, the Kentucky native. Just doing a great job to avoid that wreck. And unfortunately, that took out a lot of heavy hitters here late in the going. So I tell you what, though, Jeremy, that number 19 machine, he must have really really took into account what just happened there that last time around. So a lot of those guys obviously all just pitted for tires because they do not want that to happen again.
Well, that was actually the end of the stage. This caution happened a lap prior to stage end, but with the caution coming right back out, this extended to that break. So Richie Coy gets the 10 points for leading the stage, and then everybody else came down pit road to reset there. Multiple trucks involved, as you saw. 23 Brody Hanna, 33 Sherwood Williford, the number 2 Duranco, 14 Lane Allen, 55 Jeff Brayton, 25 Nick Goebel. I think there's a couple others I'm missing at the moment. And you mentioned Tommy Schaefer as we went on board with him. He spun the tires, if you noticed. He was the first one to do it before Nick Goebel even did it. And I think that's what saved the 29 of Schaefer from getting involved in that wreck. He had a checkup because he spun the tires. It gave him a truck separation from the guys in front. And when the wreck happened, he had enough room to decide, do I need to go low, do I need to go high? I knew his truck was already looking toward the middle of the two trucks to split the gap there. But I think that tire spin helped him out in this case.
Yeah, for sure. You know, we're just going to have to see, though, if anybody does have an issue like those guys did, but hopefully not. Green flag's back in the air, and we're racing as they head back into turn number 1, Jeremy.
Kyle Milliken leads the way this time with Douglas Hess, and the 22 is top side. The 20 quickly falls back to the 42 of Milliken, now taking sole possession of this race lead. This is a top 5 that we have not really seen up to this point. Will there be some issues? And yes, there will. The 99 this time. JP Burns brings out the 8th Roasted Gems coffee this evening, coming through turns 3 and 4. He just drove up the track a little bit, and the number 11, Tony Slurry, got into the back bumper and sent him around.
Well, cautions breed cautions. It's really all we've seen here tonight, Jeremy, unfortunately. Hopefully we can get in some good racing. You know, you're seeing a lot of guys up at the front really just because they've been unscathed. Also, most of those guys, too, you know, either pitted really early or not, but we'll have to take a look and see right here at the replay. You see the 11 just barely gets into the back of the number 99 of the 99 of JP Burns there into the corner. Unfortunately, just a pile up, nowhere to go for some of those guys. Practically ARCA braking into the corner, but even if it wasn't ARCA brakes, there's not really a lot of places to go. You're all the way up on the outside. You're battling. It's hard to see out some of those windshields when you got a bunch of trucks in front of you. You're trying to avoid it. And yep, there goes the 14. Couple other guys involved right there. Fortunate circumstances. And one driver right now who's probably shivering right now, saying shiver me timbers, is Richie Coy in that number 19 machine, because he just saw what happened. That happened all in front of him, Jeremy. So you got to think to yourself, if you're Richie Coy, and put into account, okay, these guys are racing very aggressively on restarts. I haven't been in this mess. How do I keep myself out of this mess in order to keep myself from wrecking and making sure I can get to the finish and get back to where I belong up in the lead?
That is an excellent question. Everything played in his factor right there. As you see, the hashtag Get a Good Grip Lucky Dog Award winner this time going to the 88, Mr. Colton Gum. That's going to bring him back to... I'm going to check my board here. I think I brought him back onto the lead lap, if I'm not mistaken. It does. So you'll see him resume as the last truck. It looks like 20 trucks on the lead lap at this time. Yeah, but back to the 19. You just gotta avoid where you can. That time worked perfectly. They washed up the track. 19 was already on the bottom, so he had no issues avoiding that one. But the wrecks are happening everywhere, off of turn 2, off of turn 4, middle of the straightaways. So you just really just have to have a lot of luck on your side and a little bit of skill to know if I need to go high or low to avoid everything.
Yeah, well, they're not just happening off turns 2 and off turns 4 and on the straightaways. They're happening on the dang restarts. So these guys got to be super careful here, especially if you have some green flag laps under your belt on those boots. You know, so you're going to have to be very, very careful. And that's a term these guys like to say. They love to say, let me go get a fresh pair of boots down in the pits. So they got to be careful. These boots, they got some rubber, some dirt, some dust all on them. They got to be very careful here on these restarts because that's really been the common factor on these restarts. It's either been a restart wreck or it's, I mean, for gosh sakes, we saw a first lap wreck. We weren't even 50 yards down the front straightaway. We had a giant pile up by guys who, for all we know, we could have been talking about as the race leaders. And they're already wrecked, you know, and it included the 14 and some other guys too. So these guys got to be super careful, on their toes, make sure they give each other enough room, enough respect, and make sure they can drive full head of steam towards the front of the field without making any mistakes. Because when you make a mistake, you can cause others behind you to make mistakes as well.
Absolutely. Green flag is out for the 10th time. I'm almost losing count at this point. I think it's the 10th time we've had a restart or a main start here. 42 does pass the 20 just like the last time. Clears Douglas Hess exiting turn 2. He's going to get a truck length advantage over him. 29 and Tommy Schaefer is going to resume there in 3rd place, passing Timothy Stubblefield there on the top. He's going to drop back to 4th. The Stub Nation's happy to see him inside the top 5 of that number 12 machine. Trying to get a good solid run in tonight. Some good hard racing right now early on, about midway through the pack. The top 10 have really kind of sorted themselves out. Quickly goes 3 wide through turn 3. Richie Coy is on the bottom of this with Cody McKinney and the 50 of Stephen Hollingsworth, and they make it happen the first time in 3 attempts where we saw a 3 wide situation go clean.
Well, that's because it's Richie Coy, Jeremy. And that number 19 machine, we're going to take a look here at the Nerd TV replay provided by our buddy Dustin. See right here, slow-mo. Richie was not afraid. He basically gets up on the curb with those left side tires, just scraping it. He's just kissing it with those left sides on those Goodyear Eagles. So great piece of driving by Richie Coy. And by the way, he just ran the fastest lap of the race that last time around here on the live timing, scoring 19.17. So Richie Coy, he's making his march up towards the front. The question is, will these guys up in front of him have any issues, and how will he pass them? Because he's got a lot of laps to go. He knows he can do it. He's just got to be careful and know when to give and take.
I don't know if you noticed, but the beautiful thing about that 3 wide that went clean, all those guys were on the concrete patch. They're all on the lower half of the track. So 3 trucks able to make the whole entire corner on half of the surface through the corner. That was really impressive stuff. They all within maybe 4 inches of each other, and did not even touch one another. No tire smoke, no damage at all to the trucks. That was super awesome to see that. But outside of that, that's impressive. The 19. You said he had the fastest lap at that time too, just after going 3 wide. So that has to speak volumes to how fast his truck is running right now. But single file all the way through. It looks like 15th, 16th place where we're seeing the only 2 wide situation. That's Nick Goebel, who's trying to somehow work his way through the field with that damage as he passes.
Oh, we got a wreck.
Number 2, Duranko. And oh yeah, the 69 crosses over in front of the track. And I think, if I'm counting correctly, this is the 10th caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. This time it's going to come out by the 69, who is running 11th, that being Steve Angie. And that truck is crab walking.
Yeah, he's crab walking for sure, Jeremy. Definitely have a toe knocked out, or he's just done with one of the suspensions, whether it be for the front or the rear. You know, unfortunate circumstances. He just gets loose right there, man. Wheel spin, hard hit to the inside retaining wall, collects the 27 up in the air. Look at Tony Solari barely get through there. Oh my goodness, Mr. Dustin, we're going to have to take a look from Tony Solari's standpoint, because I bet you his life was flashing before his very own virtual eyes there in that number 11 Menards Ford F-150 cockpit. We're going to have to take a look. Look at this, folks, and try to not do number 2 in your pants here. Look at this full head of steam right through the middle. Tony Solari, great piece of driving. Another heads-up nod to him from Mr. Jason Rockefeller, myself. That's about 2 times tonight Tony Solari has made an excellent move from backing out of a 3 wide situation that was going to end up bad earlier to making it through, threading the needle. Good job for the Richmond Cup Mach 1 Performance Cup Series winner here just a few weeks ago.
And that was stupid close. And on top of that, he's one of the few drivers who runs, as you say, another view of this replay as Dustin's trying to get the best angle possible on that one. He runs VR headset. One of the few guys who's doing it. So on top of that, cutting it close, he got the 3D perspective of that. So you can just imagine how that was. We're going to go super slow-mo here as the third view of it. Splitting the 69.
Oof.
And the 27 of your points leader. But that's another mention, too. That was Ryan Chapman on the top. That's your points leader over second place in points, Richie Coy. He's got a 25-point advantage coming into this race, and that was a heavy contact there by the 27. So really shaking the field up at the moment. Hopefully the 27 can get that thing repaired because he does not want to lose that points battle due to something like that.
Well, I tell you what, too, besides the points factor, going back to that VR headset, Jeremy, the reason why you applaud some of these guys for running VR, I've only really seen 2 guys ever run VR. You know, between Solari, I've also seen another driver who runs the PRL NASCAR Truck Series over on Race Spot TV. There's a driver in particular. I can't exactly put my finger on his name, but he runs VR headsets. And I tell you what, and Dale Jr. said this himself as one of the guys who helps out with iRacing, been with them since day one. Dale Jr. himself said it, and people asked him, why don't you really, run the VR, or why shouldn't I, or why should I get a VR? Dale Jr. says, I wouldn't really recommend it. It's not his personal strength. He also says he doesn't feel like, and I quote, not verbatim, but, he doesn't feel like the technology is all there to run VR. There's things in the truck that you can't see when running VR. There's from the POV to everything inside the truck, the way that you react. It's not the same as you would in an actual stock car or just in general a race car. So some of these guys who prefer the VR, shout out to them, because there's some guys, and probably like including myself, who probably not be able to run it.
Yeah, the MetaQuest Pro, I think, is going to fix that or close that gap there. You can't run the side mirrors and stuff. It's just too much to process. But with a better graphics card, I think it could get done. But we're going to go back to green flag, and I want to make a mention. Ryan Chapman, points leader, too much damage, has to park the truck, so his night is done. He's going to be finishing...
Oh, another wreck in the back!
Oh, yep, multiple trucks involved going through the front stretch. We're still green flag. I don't see the caution yet. These guys are still doing burnouts on the front. That's Cody McKinney in the 28, the 25 of Nick Goebel. There it is. Caution's out. 11th time presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. Getting all of the shout-outs here tonight. You are not missing their logo on your screen tonight. That's huge, man. That's Nick Goebel going from bad to worse, having such an epic race the first 50 laps or so, and now is involved in multiple wrecks. This is not looking to be the night. Oh, that started up in turn 3.
No, this was afterwards. This was after the fact of all that yellow happening. This is after the yellow already came out. Or no, sorry, that was the reason why the yellow came out. Yeah, that was the yellow. Thank you, Dustin. That was the yellow. You saw the 42. Kyle Milliken just absolutely gets dumped by the 00 of Tyler Brown going in there. Tyler tried to go 3 wide. There wasn't a big enough hole to try to fill the gap there. Tyler underestimated right there, or overestimated, whatever you want to call it, heading into the corner, and he accidentally just makes contact. No harm, no foul. You're trying to get the most you can. Obviously, track position being key. Tyler tried to close that gap down the bottom. Kyle tried to cut him a little bit of slack and kind of just cut him off there. So really nobody's fault. But that happened all the way in turn 4. Look at them all in front of these guys who are coming through. You see the number 2 there. A couple other guys as well. So, wow, this was a completely separate incident here. Man, oh man. I tell you what, Jeremy, if I had a Roasted Gems coffee bean for every single caution we've had here tonight, I could probably make myself a full cup of vanilla Roasted Gems coffee here tonight.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to go back to Tyler Brown there. He had Josh Mayo to the top side. He was going to push the issue 3 wide through the corner, which we've already talked about. You don't do that here at Martinsville. Overdrove the entrance, and yeah, just sent Kyle Milliken, which 2 cautions ago, Kyle Milliken was your race leader on 2 consecutive restarts. He had the preferred spot, but that last one before, he came down to pit road. He wanted to get some 4 set of Goodyears, and he puts himself mid-pack, and then the very next restart, he gets turned. It's just, to put yourself mid-pack right now is a very scary situation for anybody. So when you pit, you kind of have to figure out, okay, how can I pit and not put myself back there to get involved with these wrecks at this point? Do you wait for the big group to go down with you? Do you, I don't know. It's a very tough call for these teams. They're not running spotters or anything. It's all, last second decisions by the driver only. I don't think there's a right answer. You put yourself mid-pack. You cannot escape.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, Jeremy, about these races we keep talking about. They're either a demo derby or they can go long green flag runs depending on whatever split you may be running in an official race or who you're driving with in a league race, etc. And unfortunately, tonight it's been a little bit of both. We've had some green flag runs, but we haven't had a long enough green flag run to really consider it a competitive run. That's what I'm going to deem it as with the phrase competitive run, which is probably more than about 20 laps or so. But, that's the thing. We talk about Richie Coy. Here he is. He's going to be restarting either third or second right here. I believe it's going to be third. So he is one of the lucky ones, But if he does do that again, though, Jeremy, I can guarantee you Richie Coy is probably not going to come from the back to the front anytime soon if he does pit again here within these next 90-something laps, because it's going to be very hard to get back to the front. Everybody is going to want to try to get a piece of that lead. And by the way, Jeremy, 13 cars on the lead lap right now. Look at half this field. You can just see from this shot going into one, all those trucks have damage. There is probably only about 3 or 4 trucks out here tonight that don't have damage. So this is basically a game of survival here tonight.
I need Lionel to make a race version diecast of the race winner. It's going to look spectacular. Jumping to the chats, I had a quick laugh there while you were talking. Sam Squatch Sally saying, I've never seen a line at the infield care center before. Holy cow. You are not wrong, dude. You are not wrong. There's a line waiting for these guys to come through and get checked out. And Jessica Stubblefield also saying, ouch. Yeah, ouch is, that's big. And green flag is out here for the 12th time. Tommy Schaefer, this time going to lead everyone into turn 1. Clears the number 20 of Douglas Hess, who just can't hold center. Richie Coy almost made contact with Douglas as he gets a little loose on the corner exit. 19 now going to try to resume to second place. The only guy to really make it from the back to the front after the race initially started. As he gets around the 20 here, almost completely coming through turns 1 and 2 and does so. Job well done by Richie to make that happen as the racing is still resuming back to midfield. A lot of single file, a couple double file. But this has not, said anything good or bad about the race so far. It's just been anywhere on the track. At any moment, you'll see maybe some type of issues.
Yeah, and right now, Richie Coy is trying the best he can to catch up to Tommy Schaefer. He's sniffing that lead on the back bumper of Tommy Schaefer, and he's trying right now to the inside of him. Wasn't enough, so they're still single file. The battle here right now between Josh Mayu and Jolly in that number 08 machine, who's doing a great job tonight, hanging in there. Never really see the driver in the number 08 machine really up at the front of the field, but due to what's been happening tonight, doing a great job. Does a little crossover on Mayu, going to get in there a little hot, able to check up, and here comes Tyler Brown in the 00 driver I said to look out for in the beginning of the race. Here he is after causing the last caution. He has currently found himself back up into the top 10. He is just eating away at that 08's gap, and he's trying to get around the 08 machine and get back inside the top 5 as Richie Coy continues to hunt down Tommy Schaefer for the race lead.
Yeah, 00's got a lot of speed. He just has to maintain it and keep it clean the rest of the way. A lot of these guys will have spaced out. We've seen a lot of entries tonight back out of the race. We got about 7 or 8 that have backed out, so it has thinned out the field a little bit. You're going to see some space, a little more of a distance, a little more of a array between each truck. So that's going to help this race have a longer green flag run, which they desperately need at this point. As we're only 111 laps in of 200, 11 cautions in that first half of the race. And I think we're going to see a lot less because how thinned out things are. Knock on some wood myself. Thankfully my desk is made of wood, so I got plenty of it to knock on. But right now, looking pretty good for what we got so far.
Yeah, hopefully we can just get ourselves a nice long green flag run. We're coming to lap 113, I believe. So Tommy Schaefer continuing to lead over Richie Coy. And honestly, Jeremy, Tommy's doing a really good job at holding off Richie. I'm trying to look right now, see what the difference is, and it's only 1 lap difference for tires, so they're both on the same strategy. The next one who would be in line for those lap 75 stops would be Josh Mayu, Tyler Brown, Stephen Hollingsworth, Sylvain Jolly, and Jeff or not Jeff Brayton, but he pitted on lap 93. But those guys I just said up to Jolly, they last pit on lap 75. So, I mean, Tommy Schaefer and Richie Coy are both on the same strategy pretty much. So, it's going to be hard to tell if Tommy can try to pull away from Richie, because this is by far the biggest competition that Richie has had all night. You see the 89 in the wall again down the straightaway. Not a night that the number 89 machine has wanted tonight. He's in the wall again off the corner. Man, I'm sorry. If I were Maxwell Solch, I would just park it at this point. It looks like he's struggling. That right front is dragging, and that thing does not want to turn. That car is going to cause an accident here if he probably doesn't get off the track soon.
66 Shad Kerr and the 50 of Stephen Hollingsworth make contact. The 66 loops it through turn 2. Enters pit road. I think he took a tow there. Shad Kerr not happy with that corner through 1 and 2 there with Hollingsworth. He has backed out of the server. I heard a little bit of radio. Definitely not happy with the situation. I don't know if that was anything wrong with the 50. He held the corner pretty low, but at the same time, there was a little shift in that truck. So we're going to see there's the aftermath of him getting touched. And then we're going to go back here. So he enters the corner pretty low with the 50. So there's that. But there's the 50 Hollingsworth. It just moves up the track just by like a mere 4, 5, 6 inches. Enough to make the contact with Shad Kerr and puts him into the garage wall there, essentially. And that's going to end the night there for the 66. But we stay green. That's good for these guys currently running out there, getting that long run. They finally get it. This has played dividends to Tommy Schaefer, who is now trying to fight off the fastest truck in the field, the 19 of Richie Coy. And I think this is going to be a great time to key up our turn up the tudes. We're going to listen solely to the trucks as they go around this track under green flag conditions. We're back here. That was the turn up the twos. We listened to all the trucks roaring around this half-mile Martinsville Speedway, and we were on board with the 29 for a little bit, and we're going to go back to it here for the Nerd TV replay. At 29, Tommy Schaefer was running second place and got really loose through turns 3, collects it, and then got loose again through turn 4. Dropped head back to 4th place, 4 seconds back now of your race leader, the 19 of Richie Coy. And you see the 29 was on the back bumper at this moment in time. See if we can find where he got loose there. But that cost him some time and cost him a lot of tire wear at 29. So just got to hold on. If we do get another caution, he's going to be the first truck, I bet you, down pit road screaming for them tires because he's probably feeling it right now.
Yeah, oh my goodness. It looks like he just overshot and just absolutely saves it there. So good job by Mr. Schaefer there in that number 29 Chevy Silverado to gather it back up. He's got some right side damage. Shouldn't be enough. I don't really think he's got much right front damage on that fender. So it's not going to hurt him. He doesn't really need to take any damage repair when he does pit. We have a caution one truck around in the center of 1 and 2, Jeremy.
That's exactly what Mr. Schaefer wanted, to bring out the 12th caution, of course, presented by our new favorite, Roasted Gems Coffee here. And I'm going to say there's some displeasure on the track right now.
That was odd. I don't know what happened, and I don't know if there was a lead up to that between the 42 and the 28 machine. We'll have to take another look at the replay here, possibly. You just see right here, we're right on the back bumper. The 42 gives him a boot, and then I don't really know that. I mean, in my opinion, I'm not going to lie, that was just playing grab ass right there. I mean, I don't know what the 42 and the 28 were doing right there. It looked like the 42 just ran into the back of the 28 there going down a straightaway. Maybe the 28 either brake checked him, but I don't really think there was anything going on right there. I mean, maybe it genuinely was just a mistake. Maybe it was some tempers. But
No.
It looked like the 28 possibly just brake checked him going into the corner, and the 42 was going to the outside, thought the 28 was going to wreck him, and then the 28 just accidentally went around.
I'm actually going to challenge my producer, Dustin, here to go back several laps prior to that incident if we can. 42 and the 28 were playing bumper cars for, I think, 2.5 consecutive laps, and they finally resolved it there in turn 1 to bring out that caution. That I do not think that was an incident. I think that was of ill intent. They were bumping each other. As soon as the 28 passed the 42, they bumped each other quite a few times each corner until that wreck there. So I think tempers of Martinsville, any type of short track when you have multiple cautions, in this case, tempers are high, and sometimes we lose a little bit of our character, and I think that was the case there between the Kyle Milliken in the 42 and Cody McKinney in the 28.
Yeah, that's short track racing, man. You know, just like Denny Hamlin said when he made fun of Joey Logano, it's short track racing. That's the best way you can put it. And I mean, you know, unfortunately, these guys are just very unpleased with each other. Tempers are hot. I mean, we've had so many cautions here tonight that I probably have enough roasted gem coffee beans here for every time we've had a caution to make a cup of coffee and a half, maybe almost 2 cups now at this point. And I mean, these guys are tired. They need some roasted gems coffee to get them going, probably make some faster lap times, stop wrecking and stuff. Everybody out here tonight is probably just very frustrated, can't wait to get out of Martinsville because it has been a very long race for these drivers.
Yeah, this track is like one of the few tracks, if not the only one we've had. Here we go back to the Nerd TV replay. We're going to see where these contacts happened potentially here. So we're on board, or at least the camera focus on the 25, watching Milliken and the 28 pass each other right there. And we're going to start to see some bumping. I think 42 gets loose there, 28. Eventually, these guys are going to make some contact here. Here, probably the next slap on your replay. But yeah, it's a lot of these guys are wanting to get out. Like you said, it did not play well here last year, and this year is no difference. It's so tough, man. With so many cautions, it is really hard to keep your cool. It is super hard. You get bumped 5 or 6 times, you get used up. You're sitting here for 2 hours in the truck thinking, man, this thing just needs to end. But, you know, we've got another 66 laps to get this thing done, 67 laps. These guys are lined up side by side. We're going to have to kick it back live action here. You're starting to see some contacts there happen and some more right there on the replay. And some more bump right there from Kyle. Gives him a nice little shove there. You're going to see another little shove coming up down the straightaway. Some more bump.
Yep, this is it.
So, but we're back to green flag action here. The 19 of Richie Coy does dive into the turn 1, passes Douglas Hess, who just can't hold that middle groove there in turn 1 and 2. He's going to give up the lead to the fastest truck, the 19. Josh Mayu in the 0-2. Oh, as
he
I
goes
just mentioned,
around.
gets shoved by Tyler Brown the second time. The 00 is going to bring out the caution. This is going to be the 13th one. Cautions breed cautions that also breed cautions that happen to breed another caution. The 13th one here tonight.
You forgot to add another and breeds another caution after that one, Jeremy.
My apologies.
Unfortunate for Josh May, running so strong and right there. Tyler Brown, again, just another mistake, you know. But, you know, I don't really blame a lot of these guys. We keep talking about it. You know, that it's been a long night here tonight for these guys. You know, they just want to get through it. They're ready. They just got to survive to the end. And, I mean, and Tyler Brown, he's just trying to make up as many spots as he can. And unfortunately caused, I believe that was another incident here tonight, about 2 or 3 incidents he's been involved in here tonight. So unfortunate circumstance, but everybody but Richie Coy, I believe, has been involved in something here tonight. So unfortunate break there for the number 02 of Mayo.
I'm going to give my producer, Dustin, a little break here. We're going to kick it to commercial break, picture-in-picture mode. We'll be back with you guys for the drop of the green flag for the 14th time tonight. And back to full screen coverage here as we're lining up for our 14th start of the race. Richie Coy and Douglas Hess. Douglas has been on the top side of the front row, I think, for 6 consecutive restarts, 5 or 6 of them. Just been a trooper. He's been hanging in there in the top 3. This man qualified in 5th. He's been in the top 5 for a good chunk of this race, at least the top 10. Still finding himself in a good predicament here as we're going to have 60 laps to go once the green flag is out. Pace car is down, obviously. We're waiting for the green flag to go. And they're kind of stacking them up before we even get to the green flag into the start-finish line. Here we go. Tyler Brown's going to lead the way on the bottom outside of Richie Coy. The 00 gets to the bottom of the 20 and makes contact once again. The 20 is going to send... They're going to be sent by the 00 third time. The 00 has been a part of a contact that brings out the caution tonight. And I just talked about Douglas Hess. I'm going to apologize if there's a broadcast curse on that one. How good he's been doing this entire time up until that right there you just saw on your camera. Not even a lap this time. 14th caution of the night.
Yep. Unfortunately, cautions breed cautions, you know. I mean... I'm just sighing, you know. Hopefully these guys can get through it. Right there, you just see it. 00 moves up a little bit, gets into the 20. Hard contact there for the number 25 machine of Nick Goebel. Lots of guys just involved in everything here tonight. And like I said, Jeremy, I believe the only one who doesn't have a single piece of damage on that truck here tonight is that number 19, Martin Sports Nerd TV truck there, Richie Coy. So everybody here has damage. And hey, look at this. Just by the way, I want to point out Sylvan Jolly in that number 08 machine currently sitting P3 right now. Yes, we've had a wreck fest, but what an absolute showing here for the driver of the number 08 machine. So good run by him tonight, and hopefully maybe he could probably bring it home here in a top 3 position.
He was a 2022 veteran in FTSR on the Truck Series. And this is his second start this season. He did not finish well his opening start of the year last week, but now he's putting on a pretty strong run. Started 13th, now currently in 3rd place. I'd love to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors that have not had a commercial run through tonight. I'm going to do a shout out to Sim Racing Points, the official sponsor of the Nerd, or one of our sponsors for the Nerditudes and for FTSR joint group system there. It's an all-inclusive league points management system that allows league owners and admins to completely track their league stats with one simple upload of the race export. They also, for the webmasters out there, allow custom widgets and full page customization to completely display your points, stats, anything that's a part of the race. This software at simracingpoints.com just does it so professionally, so cleanly, and you can get an advertised taste of it. Head to FTSR.net. If you go to their site, you can run through all the stats. That is powered by Sim Racing Points, so firsthand click. So you can go through them before you switch your league over. And so if you're a league owner right now that's watching this race right now, simracingpoints.com, check out their pricing plans. It is cheap for compared to what they offer. So much for your league. Once again, simracingpoints.com. And I was going back, Jason. I was kind of watching that wreck there with the 20 and the 00. I don't blame the 00 on this one. I was watching the 20 go through the corner, and he was diving down lower into the bottom groove when that contact was made. So I don't put any. It sucks. It happened to the 00 once again the third time tonight, but I don't think it's his fault. But that's my personal opinion. We're going back to green flag action here. Richie Coy's going to start this thing once again. P1. Tyler Brown is going to be P2 this time. Oh, tire spin there by the 00. 50 is Hollingsworth almost made some contact with him. Schaefer quickly dives down to the bottom, and the top two are going to clear themselves.
Yeah, Richie Coy is just trying to continue to be in a zip code of his own. Hasn't really had the opportunity to do so here tonight. We know he's been super strong. Him and Tommy Schaefer were probably the two who were going to be the class of the field. But right now, Tyler Brown kind of hanging in there with him. But I really do expect, and no offense to Tyler Brown at all, it's just that number 19 has been hooked up on the rails here tonight. Richie being the short track guy, he's just been on the binders here tonight. As you see, the 00 gets loose out of turn number 4. You could just see everybody struggling with grip, struggling to try to really get to that number 19 machine of Richie Coy. And he's just been doing one heck of a job here tonight as he's approaching about halfway through this lap 100 mark. So Richie Coy continue to lead here at Martinsville.
JP Burns, after being involved in multiple wrecks, has kept himself on the lead lap after multiple visits to the pit crew to get that thing repaired. Passes the 28 of McKinney. He's going to put himself in 7th place here. So shout out to Burns for keeping that momentum up even when every side of that truck is completely smashed up. And oh, Cody McKinney right behind him shoots way up the racetrack all by himself, does not spin. So we're still going to stay green flag, but that's going to cost McKinney about 4 positions there. 5 now is Alan Duranko, and the number 2 is going to go down to the bottom side of him. Try to make that pass here. This is going to be for 9th place. As they go through turns 3, almost some contact there. The 2 shoots up. Oh, 28 bumps him a little bit. Still straight, still keeping it green.
Yeah, these guys are battling like it's the last lap, every single lap. And those guys are going to lap them here pretty soon, way back there. They're about a straightaway behind. So they got to be careful. But hey, keep your eye on this number 28 machine. As you see, one truck, I can't even tell the number. I believe that's the 25 right there of Nick Goebel after such a strong night in the beginning of the race. All the way back there. But like I was trying to say, Jeremy, keep an eye. The 28, he's only 2 trucks in front of this number 42 machine. Not trying to stir anything up, but I want to know if the 28 and the 42, when they do get together again, if they will do some hard battling here.
Yeah, they're pretty spaced out at the moment. I don't think the hard racing's done per se. There's still spots to be made up. We're seeing another couple of trucks in the back here. It looks like Colton Gum there on the 88, still having some woes here. He's on the lead lap, but he slid up the track that time, allowed the 25 and the 42 to get around him. He's going to drop back to, I think that's going to put him a little 12th place, the last truck on the lead lap. 12 trucks out of the 34 entries, so a third of the field almost on the lead lap. Everybody else 1 lap down, or actually 2 laps down or more. Everybody else really spaced out. So at this time, I think we're probably going to see the last long green flag run of the night. I think we had the storm, Jason. I think it's over with. I think we're just going to run these laps down to the end.
Nah, brother, I don't think so. I think we're probably going to get another yellow here at some point, and it could be coming from these guys right here. It could be coming from turn 4. It could be coming from the front stretch. It could be coming from pit road. You never know. I mean, it's Martinsville. It's a short track. there's guys in the way. There's guys passing one another. There's guys bumping one another. You never know. As you see the 17 right there, goes up the racetrack. Steve Loomis lets the number 99 machine of JP Burns by. Everybody right now, we know for a fact they just want to bring home the checkered flag, you know, in their mirror. I mean, with the race that we've had tonight here, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are really just don't really mind passing one another and giving and taking because they just want to try to get home to the finish. But these are race car drivers, man, the virtual race car drivers here in the sim world. They don't want to give up position, so I do believe we will probably see another yellow, but only time will tell here as we're approaching just 40 laps to go.
Everybody else is on the track, keeping it clean. The 6'9" Steve Angie giving up tons of space here as he's letting the lead trucks go around him. So much space being given, so we're not seeing any battles at the moment. Maybe the 91 at Delta, he's coming up to the 6'9". Well, the 6'9" does give away once again. The 91 that time. Yeah, there could be one more. I mean, we haven't seen a super long run. We haven't seen how the rear tires are going to handle after 40 laps. So this might be where we're going to see it. Actually, we got a pretty good battle here going for third, fourth, and fifth, and even sixth place. Sylvain Jolly leading this group of 4 trucks here with the 50 of Hollingsworth, the 02 of Josh Mayu, and the 55 of Brayton. This is probably the best race on the track right now.
Yeah, these guys have been really swapping positions here the last few laps. You see Stephen Hollingsworth, he got the 08 right on the inside of him there about a handful of laps, about a lap ago. Now he's really struggling with grip. He's trying to open up the door for not trying to open up the door for Josh Mayu. That 50 is definitely struggling on rear grip off the corners and heading through the center. But that 08 machine, what a nice job by Sylvain Jolly here tonight. And that number 08 purple and dark blue Toyota Tundra TRD machine here tonight. If he could come home with a third place finish after just his second start this season here in the Martin Sports Truck Series, this would be a fantastic run. This would practically be a win for the driver in the number 08 machine. So continuing to see Richie Coy up at the front, but there's battles all over this racetrack right now.
Yeah, it took him a while last year in 2022 to get a win. I think it was Talladega, if my rarity of my memory kicks in and serves me correctly. And now second race into this thing, going to be finishing P3 out of this demo derby of a race that we've had so far. This will be a win. I would 100% agree with you. It will be a win for the 08 if he can maintain at least podium. Top 5 even would be a success for being the second start of the whole entire season. Well, these guys have had 8 extra races underneath their belt. 7 extra races, rather. So see if the 08 can keep this momentum up here, as he does get a little bit of a gap now between him and the 02 of Mayu. As Josh Mayu passes the 50 of Hollingsworth, he's going to take over 4th place.
Yeah, I tell you what, something right now, Jeremy, don't count out that Tyler Brown guy right now, man. He is currently posting a little bit quicker lap times right now than Richie Coy. Obviously, some lap traffic between the two of them, and also in front of Mr. Coy there. The Haskell, New Jersey native, currently trying to work around the lap traffic, gets around the 9, now trying to work around the number 28 machine. So he's just got to be easy, make sure he doesn't make contact. Remember, he doesn't need to overdrive the truck. Remember, he's the one who's trying to set the pace for this field right now. Tyler Brown is the one who's trying to set the pace for himself and go as hard as he can to try to catch up to Richie Coyne. Actually lost about a second there that last time around. So Tyler Brown might have had something happen there, possibly with him in a lap truck, because we do know Tyler Brown is an aggressive driver. He's a good driver, and he very well could catch Richie Coy if given the right opportunity and the right series of events here in these last 30 laps.
Yeah, right now it's mainly how do you catch the lap traffic? Do you catch him in the corner? Do you catch him on the straightaway? You notice that lap drop there by the 00. He got loose off of turn 4 a couple laps ago with a little bit of tire spin. So it backed him up, and he got more tire spin this time off of turn 4. It's a little bit of a struggle situation for Tyler Brown in that particular area of the racetrack. But right now, Tyler has caught the traffic almost in the worst place possible. Richie Coy's caught him at a fairly comfortable area. Oh, as Coney McKinney turns the 42 heavy into the outside wall of turn 3 and 4. The 28 curb hopped into the 42. And if you remember, about 50 or 60 laps to go, these two were hashing it out multiple laps. And the 28 eventually turned himself, trying to bump the 42. This might have been a repeat of earlier tonight.
Honestly, I don't really think the 28 meant to even do anything right there, Jeremy. That was definitely just him getting up underneath the curb. He didn't really gas it up or anything like that. He had a better entry into the corner, locked it up a little bit over the number 42 of Kyle Milliken, so I don't really put the 28 at fault there. Maybe he was just trying to make it look like an accident if it was, but in all honesty, I don't really think the 28 had any real intention there of getting into the 42. You saw a little bit of contact there, but really heading into one, we'll take a look at it again. 28 gets in there a little bit. I mean, maybe he was. I mean, I do expect possibly a penalty out of these two drivers here for next week, but I mean, we'll have to see. Again, not trying to stir anything, just calling what we're seeing up here in the booth. And unfortunately, these two have been going at it in the last 50 laps when presented the opportunity to get near each other. And right there, 28 tried to get in there a little hot, locked it up. They finally evened out, and then he just curb hopped it right there and shot back up into the number 42 machine of Milliken.
Yeah, we were watching the race leaders and talking about how the Tyler and Richie were going to kind of set themselves up here. And our producer, Dustin, great. He actually noticed those two guys on the track next to each other, so he keyed up on them. And he noticed that for several laps prior, once again, they were bumping each other through the corners. The 28 was bumping the 42. But when they got to that corner in turn 3, I almost want to side with you there, Jason. He did a really good job at making it look like he made an accident where he locked up the tires almost. The truck kicked a little sideways, and then he released the brake, curb hopped it, and just dumped the 42. It was a really clean, if he was trying to do it intentionally, it didn't look like it at all. But for the bumps prior through the past couple laps, especially with the last incident they had about 40, 50 laps ago, it's tough to call, but I'm sure the admins will be looking over that. They are strong on their penalties. They don't play around. And I expect quite a few out of this race in particular. So, and they're fair, and they're very fair. That's a good point. So
yes, absolutely.
Which is key. It's key, right, to have good admins to keep it unbiased and fair every single time.
Well, yeah, that's one thing too. I know for a fact. I believe Brody Hanna is one of the admins. I believe for this league and throws out penalties. I believe and stuff like that. They're always very fair. They don't really try. They don't want obviously confrontations with their drivers. But that's the thing. We call it as what we see on the racetrack. And unfortunately, the 28 and the 42 have been into each other here a few times tonight. And they've had incidents where it was definitely 100% on purpose at times, but also some accidents. So, we just call it like we see it. But these guys over there, in Full Throttle, they're always very fair and clean on their penalties. So they'll definitely observe what happened tonight with the 42 and the 28 and definitely make a decision for next week.
As the green flag does fly for the 16th time, Tyler Brown gets an excellent jump over the 08 of Sylvain Jolly. As we have a new race leader this time, Richie Coy's going to be in third. We were talking so much about that wreck. I guess the 19 came down for tires. I didn't see that happen. There's no reason why the 19 lost the race lead, but he quickly gets around the 08 of Sylvain Jolly, which has me believing he has a set of tires on that machine, which is going to easily gobble up the 00 here at Tyler Brown. If that is the case, and you're seeing the pit stop strategy on your upper right-hand half of the screen, and you see the big, massive yellow bar there, he's got tires. We just didn't catch it. At least I didn't in particular. As he goes around the 00, and this is going to be huge. Great heads up by the 19 of Richie Coy to say, hey, there's only 8 trucks on the lead lap. Why don't I get my tires now? And if these guys stay out, I'm going to be in a much, much better place than these guys, and that's exactly what's happening. And he's just going to set sail here to the end.
Yeah, and honestly, with only 8 trucks right now on the lead lap, and Richie Coy just posted the fastest lap time of the race, 19.13. Oh, we got 2 trucks on the wall. Sylvain Jolly, a couple others involved. They keep her going. The 55 almost got tagged by the 99. They all save it. What a save. Oh, no, but the right front of the truck is dragging for Sylvain Jolly. Heartbreak after such a good night. They're going to make contact. Into the wall. Hard goes the 08 machine. Back up across the field. Into Dilts. And the Roasted Gems Coffee caution flag is out. Man, what a last lap that was. So much going on. So much to talk about. And a heartbreak for Sylvain Jolly in the number 08 machine.
And that is the 16th caution here tonight. Sylvain Jolly gets bumped by Stephen Hollingsworth in turns 1 and 2. Really jacks up his truck. You mentioned the front was dragging. Gets to the next corner onto the front stretch. And, it looked like the 08 came down just a touch. And then the 54 Rick Webb came up the truck quite a bit and went to the same real estate. And you cannot do that right there. Oh, Justin Dilts. He almost T-boned the 08 really hard there. He did spin out eventually, but man, that could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, but that truck for Dilts is definitely going to be hurting. That right front is key here at Martinsville, and you don't want that thing to have a lot of damage. And he's got some, you see right there as he goes by. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but definitely going to hurt him. He's probably got some RPMs dropping, but let's face it, everybody here does probably besides the 19 and the 00 currently right now. Yeah, you could just see that hood's up. That radiator's pushed in right there. As you take a look at Dustin here, we can get a flatter angle maybe of that front end. You can just see there's damage all over this truck here as we start to head back for the drone cam. Right towards the front, there it is. You see that radiator pushed in, the hood's up. Perfect camera angles with the drone cam from our producer, Dustin Long. Always doing a great job here. But it's just unfortunate there, you know, all these guys down on RPMs. Nobody can really compete with the number 19, the 00, unless something happens to them. But, man, we've had ourselves a race here tonight, Jeremy, and we've had our producer up on his toes here tonight. I don't think he's had the chance to maybe get a drink of water at all tonight.
You know, before you even mention the producer, I was going to say this man needs his own commercial during our next commercial break that we have. Showcasing his drone skills, showcasing how many times we put this man to work, and how much this action on the track has put this man to work tonight. I know you can't hear him. He might show his face during the post-race, or he might just be, you know, I'm done, guys. I'm just going to step away while the interviews are happening. Who knows? But I know he's out there. He's listening to us, and I know he's got Monday to work with as well. So hopefully gets a nice refresher over the weekend, and we'll have the Mach 1 Series take care of it. Hopefully it's a lot cleaner that time too, but 16 cautions tonight. We have 15 laps to go when we get to the line this time around, which should be the 1 to go signal. So 14 laps will be to end this thing once and for all. Do we see Tyler Brown make a strong push to at least attack turn 1 and 2? I know he doesn't have the better tires, but does he at least try anything for 1 and 2?
I mean, let's face it. You're either going to, you know, die a hero by, you know, not just like Batman says in The Dark Knight, you know, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And unfortunately, he could die the hero tonight by just letting Richie Coy go out there and get that victory that Richie's been looking for on the short tracks, or he could be the villain and take home a checkered flag here tonight at Martinsville and really throw it in for a long shot and possibly get into the 19. I don't expect that happening here. They did wave off the start, so they're going to get the 1 to go signal right here. But really, to answer your question, though, Jeremy, I don't really expect the 00. I expect him to take the hero route here tonight. I can't expect him to really throw it in on Richie Coy. I mean, we do all know here, the viewers, us and Dustin, we all know Tyler Brown is an aggressive driver, like I'd stated earlier, and he's a good driver. It's just a matter of, can he compete with Richie Coy? I mean, right now, by the looks of it, I mean, Tyler Brown, though, I don't really think so. He's going to have to do something because the difference in laps, 172 was Richie Coy's last pit, and Tyler Brown's was 130. So that just goes to tell you, if I were Tyler Brown, you got to try to do something right here.
This is your only effort here, is going through turn 1 and 2 on the initial start with the 19 in the preferred groove with the best tires. Oh, is a little bit of a hiccup on the start there. Looks like the 19 and the 00 didn't know who was going to go first. They go through turns 1 with a little bit of a checkup. The 19 set sail clearly with the amount of grip that he has in those tires in comparison. But Tyler Brown does get a good launch over the 02 and the 50. This is going to help his chances finish in second place podium position, as third place still side by side.
Yeah, well, this is the battle on the racetrack right now. Stephen Hollingsworth overdrives the corner big time, and so does, I believe, the 55 of Jeff Bratton there in that number 55 machine. But the 02 of Mayu, he's able to clear the 50 of Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth trying to get back to the bumper of Mayu there off turn number 4. Not enough. They're single file now here with just 11 laps to go in Martinsville. Richie Coy again matches his fastest lap time of the race with a 19.13 right now here at Martinsville. He's in the 3, coming to 10 fingers up in the air, 10 laps to go this time by.
10 laps to go. Everyone's happy to see that. We are single file all the way through the field. It looks like Mayhew's setting a good pace to keep himself in that podium spot there over the 50 of Hollingsworth. Don't count him out just yet. Maybe he's saving the tires for the final 5 laps to give this thing one last push here. But Richie Coy up to a 2.5 lead already. No worries with him. He's got the best tires. He's in the best spot. He's got the fastest truck all night long. I'm not going to see any issues coming from that camp. Seen the 23 trying to get around the number 99 as well of JP Burns. That's not for position, but, you know, Burns is right now 6th place. Shout out to him still. Holding a good, strong race with that damage, just like everybody else does. Don't see him up in the front too often. So, oh, but you're going to see Tyler Brown get a little loose here.
99's out. 99's in a wall hard.
17th caution by our favorite sponsor, Roasted Gems Coffee. The same time I saw the 00 and the 02 make some contact, the 99 self spins. I'm going to stop talking about individuals and giving them shout outs because this is just getting a little bad on my end.
That's just wheel hop right there. Getting in too hard, not enough brake, wheel hopping, overcorrected, hard into the outside wall for the number 99 Jeff Burton throwback machine there. Tough break, but hey, this could possibly be Tyler Brown's biggest break. I mean, we haven't really had a lot of green flag left, but we're getting that point. I mean, I think Tyler Brown's got what he's got, but I mean, and also great save by him. He lost it, though, to Josh Mayhew there. I know JP Burns is coming in now, so I don't think Tyler Brown's going to come in, but, man, Tyler Brown might just coulda, woulda, shoulda pitted right there, maybe.
You got to pit. You got to pit. I mean, you're not going to win the race. The 19's got the best set. You got 7 drivers, 8 drivers, going to be 7 on the lead lap. Well, 8 here as one gets his lap back. Looks like 25 and Nick Goebel, who's going to go back to lead lap. So 8 to 9 on the lead lap. Now, like for me, I'm pitting. Like I'm going to give up my 4th place spot. I'm going to give up my 5th place. We don't see anybody pit though. That's, to me, that's, you know, this is your make or break decision. If you do that, you can pass cars really quick here. With the tires, they got 50 laps on these things. So if you have a fresh set of tires, if you pit right now, you're setting yourself up for a really good finish. Quickly jump into the chats. We see Coaster Fan Leo finally joining us here. This race has been something. My engine blue would have finished around 15th to 17th if that didn't happen. That's unfortunate. I know there's been a lot of incidences. I'm sure there's a lot of pushed radiators in. It could have been something that happened to you as well. So, but good effort nonetheless. Tough to see it, man.
Yeah. I mean, what else can you say? It hasn't just been, you know, a frustrating race for him, but it's been a frustrating race for a lot of these guys. Besides maybe Richie Coy, obviously, who's basically been handed the. I wouldn't call him the Jesus Christ of the short track here, but he's basically that right now. Everybody is suffering with all this damage, and here he is. He's clean as can be, leading them all home, just trying to be their saving grace and take that checkered flag. So, I mean, Richie Coy, though, has been doing such a good job here tonight. The short track guy, the New Jersey native, he knows what he's doing. I mean, he's got the 19 on the door for Martin Truex Jr., a guy who's pretty much dominated Martinsville here within some of the last few races, the last few years. You know, Wall Stadium, track champion there, I believe, and also won a lot of races over there in Wall Township, which is my home track. So the New Jersey native supporting the New Jersey driver here, and he's looking to take one here out of Martinsville.
Truex is good on the flat tracks, man. He won that LA Coliseum race for the, for the Clash, so he knows how to get it done as well. And right now, it's all signs are leading to the 19, just taking this home, as we are going to have an unofficial green-white checker start here. As we're going to come up to lap 199. Next time around, they're going to have the white flag out to signal the end of this race. And we'll see how this restart plays out. Who's going to be aggressive? Who's going to just finish it out for the final 2 laps? Here we go as they go into turn number 1. The 50 of Hollingsworth gives a little bump to Mayhew. The 2 rather bumps to 50. Little domino effect. They stay clean.
Yeah, they're just trying to get home right now. Everybody scrambling for positions. You see the 00 of Tyler Brown almost gets to the 02 of Mayo, but it's not going to be enough. Right now, Richie Coy takes the white flag. 1 lap to go here at Martinsville.
battle right now is on for second. 3 trucks under a blanket. Tyler Brown, Josh Mayu, Stephen Hollingsworth battling for the final spot on the podium as Coy works his way to 3 for the final time.
And here he comes off of 4. Finally, with a huge sigh of relief, the 19's going to bring it home. For the Martin Sports winning moments is to have those fresh set of tires at the end. That definitely seals the victory for the 19, as he is going to be the second repeat winner of 2023 in the Martin Sports Truck Series race. This thing is done. 17 cautions, 200 laps, and well earned by the 19, considering he did himself at one point go to the back after a pit stop, work his way all the way to the front cleanly, got put back there again for a few spots, made his way back up to the front, made the right pit strategy call, gets the job done.
Yeah, good job by Richie Coy. I mean, nobody was touching him here tonight. I mean, you could have put a case up for Tommy Schaefer, who was really the only one hanging in, but even on the long run, Schaefer just couldn't do it. And you see Richie Coy taking that Polish victory lap, you know, courtesy of, you know, what Alan Kawicki used to do back in the day years ago. Alan Kawicki, you know, in the month of April lost his life. And you can see Richie Coy paying tribute to the man who drove that number 7 machine to one of NASCAR's most infamous seasons ever. Took home that championship that very day at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and Richie Coy paying tribute to him. But, I mean, Richie was unstoppable tonight here, Jeremy. I mean, he was the fastest truck on the racetrack, had the fastest lap of the race with a 19.13. I mean, what better way to do it here than probably lap most of the field. Only 11 trucks on the lead lap, and Richie Coy is going to park it right there at the start-finish line. And he's going to celebrate here with his team and family and friends probably here.
Yeah, this man does that Polish lap every single time, and what a month to get it done here. But we're going to go over the unofficial results here. Loosely unofficial, because there's probably some penalties coming down to some of these drivers after this thing is over. But Richie Coy obviously takes home first place. Second place belongs to Double Zero Tyler Brown. Third place is going to belong to Josh Mayu. Fourth, Stephen Hollingsworth. Fifth place, Jeff Brayton. Sixth, Alan Duranko. Seventh, Cody McKinney. Eighth place, Nick Goebel. Ninth and the last person on the lead lap, J.P. Burns. And to round out tonight's top 10, Kyle Milliken.
Yeah, and then to round out your top 20, you got Colton Gum there coming home 11th. Justin Diltz 12th. Brody Hanna 13th. Sylvain Jolly, heartbreaker for him tonight. Driver out of Canada there with the number 08 machine, comes home 14th. Rick Webb 15th. Maxwell Solch comes home 16th after a very rough night for him. Stephen Allen 17th. Tommy Schaefer comes home in the 18th spot. Douglas Hess 19th. And Leonard Stang comes home in the 20th spot.
21st, Steve Angie. 22nd, Tony Solari. 23rd place, Stephen Loomis. 24th, Timothy Stubblefield. 25th place, Ryan Chapman, points leader coming into the thing. 26th place, Sherwood Williford. 27th, Joshua O'Connor. 28th place, Joseph McKinney. Colby Mice, 29th. 30th place, Chad Curran. 31st, TJ Bartell. Brandon Elder, 32nd. James Torrey, 33rd. And Gene Collum takes the last place position here on 34th place. And we're going to take it to a full screen commercial break here, round up tonight's top 3. We'll be back with you guys after a few commercials. And welcome back here for the Martin Sports post-race show, where we're going to interview tonight's top 3 here after this pretty crazy Martinsville race here for the Martin Sports Truck Series. First one on our list is third place finisher, Mr. Josh Mayu. Let's see if we get a copy with him tonight. Josh Mayu, this is Jeremy in the TV booth. You got a copy?
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey man, what a race! I know you probably got some thoughts about this thing. Pretty eventful for you. You got started up toward the rear or mid-pack rather in 11th, fell back to the back, came back to the front, got pushed around a few times, and you found yourself in podium. So just kind of recap your night and how everything went for you.
Yeah, it was a good run. Being under the weather with the kidney stone deal made everything a little more impatient for me, I guess, when things went wrong. Kind of tempers flaring there, but yeah, I can't remember who it was, 00, I think his name or number was, got in the back of me, spun us out early, fired me up, but I just tried to keep it easy and calm, cool, and collected, and got back to third. It was a good race though overall.
Yeah, what a race for sure to have a kidney stone and to fight through that at Martinsville. That's a whole nother work or job in itself. So, with all that being said, huge congratulations on your third place podium finish. I know it wasn't easy to get there, but you're able to make it happen. Floor is yours. Who would you like to thank out there that's watching, or just anyone in general?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I'm not too energetic tonight. Sorry about that, but like to thank you guys, the league, my teammate Doug Hess. He had a good run too, and he got the
He
same deal. So we're not too happy with the 00. But anyway, everybody at K2B, my family, you guys again. So yeah, that's about it.
All right, man. Go and get some good rest, and hopefully that passes here soon for you. Have a good night.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And that was a 0-2 there of not Tyler Brown, but Josh Mayu. Now it's time to bring in the guy he was just talking about, the 00, Tyler Brown. What a segue, but we're going to bring him in here. Tyler Brown, this is Jeremy the Nerd TV booth. You have a copy?
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, man, congratulations on the second place podium finish there. That was an extremely hard-fought race for everybody out there. So to come out, even with a top 5, I would consider that in my page as a victory. Just recap your entire night. It was pretty eventful for you overall, but at the end of the day, you able to have a fast truck, stayed relatively, intact. Let's talk about your night tonight.
Yeah, well, we didn't put in a ton of practice for this track. It's honestly my favorite track to race at, but with knowing going into it that we were going to start on the tail, I was counting for sure to get taken out pretty early, but we were able to dodge the first big one there and slowly work our way up. And it was good hard racing all night. Some guys, racing harder than others. I was racing harder than others at certain points, but we had a couple of close calls where we got into some people, and we, it's just short track racing. None of it was intentional. It just hard racing at these short tracks, man. That's going to happen. But overall, I got to thank Tommy Schaefer. He's my teammate in here. I do practice with him a lot. He helps me with setups. He's a big instrumental part to this, what me and him got going on, and we're just chipping away, trying to work through these points and have good runs week to week.
How do you feel like your chances of you and Tommy continuing some more podium finishes for the rest of the season?
With the take more practice, I think we've been lacking a little bit on the practice, especially this week. I think we put some more practice in and really dial in these setups at some of these tracks. I think we'll be just fine. Yeah,
sounds good, man. I'm going to give you the floor to you. I know you already shouted out your teammate, but who else would you like to thank out there before we let you go this evening?
That's really about it. Nick Goebel, Cody McKinney, Randy Henshaw, them guys. I can thank them as well. I've practiced with them a ton. They're always giving little pointers here and there. Joey McKinney. They're all pretty decent guys. We all show up and try to race hard and want to have fun. So it's kind of a big group deal, but Tommy's my main guy that, I run with. He's my teammate, and we work a lot together, as well.
Yeah, 10-4 on that, and that's what we're here for at the end of the day, is just to have some fun, right? So congratulations on podium finish once again, and go ahead and celebrate the rest of your night, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Yes, sir. And that was second place finisher in the 00, Mr. Tyler Brown, and now the guy who's very familiar with this spot here in the booth, Mr. Richie Coy in the 19. Do you have a copy?
What's up, nerds?
Hey man, welcome to the Martin Sports victory lane here after the crazy 17 caution race, 200 laps here at Martinsville, and your truck, you seen it all. You're up at the front. You pitted at one point, went to the far back. You made your way through the front, kicked back a little bit. You made a late race pit stop. I think around like what, lap 170-ish, somewhere in that ballpark, and that just set you in a different time zone, and you just blew through everyone every single restart. Made the job at the very end of the race pretty easy for you overall. Go ahead and walk us through your night tonight.
Well, I would probably say my night was a whole lot better than a lot of other guys out there.
That's
Seemed like a
true.
really rough race. Through and through, 17 questions is definitely a lot of questions. I got my game froze, or the sim froze, right as we switched to qualifying. So I had to pop out and come back in. I didn't get my qualifying lap in like I wanted to. Started fourth. Was able to drive to the front. Led some laps. Went to go pit. I guess I pitted early. Got a black flag for pitting under a closed pit. Went all the way back to 18th and prayed my way up to the front without getting run over by all the carnage that was going on out there. And I debated on that last pit stop too, whether or not I should take tires. But there was only 8 cars on the lead lap at that point. I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? And then I was able to make it through. No major incidents for me. Unfortunately, my 2 teammates can't say the same, unfortunately, but yeah, lots of other guys too.
I had no idea you had a black flag there too, so that kind of just kind of hindered you a little bit. I'll ask you one last thing. Midway through the race, you went 3 wide. I forget the numbers off the top of my head. All at the bottom half of the track. We had seen 2 3-wide attempts before, and they ended up in cautions. So you guys are all crowded on the concrete side of the corner. How did you keep that thing hugged so tightly to the bottom and not slide up and make any contact with those guys? Because those 2 above you were like maybe a few inches separated.
That's the key to Martinsville right there. Getting through the corner, rolling through that corner and not sliding up, trying to keep it down towards the curb. That's the key to Martinsville. If I tell you that, I'd have to kill you, and then the cops will be out. It's just, we can't do that.
I definitely know that's key, man, for sure. But knowing you had 2 guys on the top, like I'm sure a little bit more of a pressure situation was put on you there to keep that. But you did a hell of a job, man. Second multi-winner this season here in the Martin Sports Truck Series, alongside your teammate Mr. Brody Hanna. You and him have 4 wins out of the 9 total races this season. So, floor is yours. Congratulate who you'd like to thank tonight.
Well, got to thank my teammates, Brody and Tony, because tonight's setup was a hybrid. They're a brony or whatever, brony setup.
Brody.
So it was a hybrid between the 2 of them. So it's what we used actually last year as well. So it was a rocket ship, and I hate that they got caught up in some stuff because they had the same rocket ship underneath their trucks. But thanks to them, obviously, for putting a good truck under me. Thanks to Martin Sports for sponsoring the series. I love getting them back into victory lane again for them with that little 19 Martin Sports hot rod right there. And thanks to you guys, and for all you guys do. I can't wait to watch it back. I can't wait to watch 17 questions back. And then thanks to the league. Hopefully everybody comes through and calms down. Walks away without killing each other tonight, and we'll see everybody next week. Oh, thanks to Tony's mom and dad watching out in Vegas, and like I said, we'll see everybody next week.
Yeah, we had 12 extra cautions last year here in the truck, and everyone outside of that came through with a good mindset. So I think tonight was going to prevail and do the same thing, but we're Talladega next week. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, Richie, have a good night, man.
All right, guys, appreciate it. Thanks again.
Yes, sir. And that was the number 19 there. Richie Coy getting his 2nd victory of the season here in the Martin Sports Truck Series. And Jason, quick recap on your part. Pretty eventful overnight, but I see our producer on the camera too. So Jason, first, how did you think the night went?
Look at that. He's here, man. He's in the flesh here. He's in the flesh sweating, man. Well, there's a lot I could say, obviously, but the time crunch, and you got another broadcast after this. This league, they've been doing a really good job. They're always putting on these good events. It's Martinsville, I get it.
I think, though, that they're definitely going to reevaluate tonight. Obviously, you talked about it last year. You and Dustin and I were all talking about it under the break. 29 cautions last year in this race, which was, I believe you just said 12 more than what we had tonight with 17, I think you said. And, I mean, I'm sure that these guys are going to sit down. They're definitely going to talk to them because, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more short tracks coming up in the near future for this series and also the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. And then Mach 1 comes here on Monday. So just imagine how it's going to be with the higher horsepower, the lower downforce. You're going to have guys locking it up, spinning out, wheel hopping. I'm sure they're going to talk to them at some point, probably. Probably before Monday night, obviously. So they're going to have the time to practice here for the next, less than a week, and definitely talk to them. They're going to issue some penalties, probably between the 42 and the 28. Again, not trying to stir anything. I just call it like I see. And tonight there was a lot of guys who weren't giving and taking when they should have. But just like Tyler said, unfortunately, he's an aggressive driver. He was the victim, and he also was the the predator in a sense in some of these instances. He even said himself, it's just short track racing, which is true. But a lot of these guys too, at the end of the day, they got to give and take. But other than that, Richie Coy, phenomenal job. He was practically the New Jersey Transit tonight, staying on the rails and going one direction all night long, and that was towards the front. So congratulations to Richie, and I'm really looking forward to Talladega next week because I love calling super speedway races.
Well, I'm glad to have you on board with that, man. And one last thing before we get this thing closed. Dustin, how are you feeling tonight?
It's a heck of a workout. Like I said, anytime you come to a short track, it's always a heck of a workout. I mean, these guys put on a good show. It's typical short track racing. You're going to have bumpers. You're going to have, some carnage, some sheet metal, torn apart. You're going to have some tempers flaring. That's short track racing, baby. That's just how it goes. So it's nothing that I didn't expect. But like I said, hopefully the show was good. They definitely kept me busy. Martinsville always does this paperclip. This as a producer is probably the bane of my existence this track here. So, but otherwise it was a good show all the way around.
Well, I'm glad you survived that, man. But we're going to bring this thing to a close. Thank our sponsors one last time. Of course, as always, FTSR leads the way on that. Join in this league. We 30 plus car fields almost every single time we show up for you guys. And if you want to be part of the action, head over to FTSR.net to be a part of it. Mach 1 Performance, the Monday Night Cup Series sponsor. They produce winners from multiple racing series and all sorts of racing divisions. So find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Mach 1 Performance. Sim Racing Points, our all-inclusive league points management system that allows you to complete your track or your league stats and more with one simple upload. Visit them at simracingpoints.com. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See the whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get notifications fractions of a second faster without ever leaving your focus from the racing action. Visit iracingiflag.com for product line. Butt Kicker, the ultimate feel from a race car with the haptic response system from the Butt Kicker. Visit their website at thebuttkicker.com to see a full product line of their haptic products for your sim rig. Team Watson Racing Setups, quality professionally built setups for your asphalt oval needs. Visit them at teamwatsonracing.com for pricing and packages. And lastly, I don't know if I even need to shout them out, but Roasted Gems Coffee, premium coffee beans roasted just for you. You're going to start your day the right way every time from them. So head over to roastedgems.com to get a taste. And we will catch you guys this coming Monday for the Mach 1 guys to tackle 250 laps here at Martinsville Speedway. But until then, as always, stay safe and to get your nerd on.